Hey everyone, welcome to Jojo's World.
Good summer's day.
It's autumn.
It's autumn now. Time has inexorably flowed from my brain into the ether, as it always does. I'm the god of time now.
Nick is sleep deprived.
I am so
And he is one
sleep-deprived.
of your co-hosts, but couldn't be me. I'm Liam S. Smith, the main one of your co-hosts.
What is this main one? Where is
That's
this?
right, I'm in control.
Is this, well, to be fair, the hierarchy has been set before. Well, I'm Nick Ballantyne, the other one of the co-hosts.
He's really more of a sidekick.
I'm more of a side character that comes in every 2 JoJo's World episodes. It's like, hey, I'm back.
Yeah, the non-Nick episodes have been going since early part 3.
I had contractual obligations to a movie at the time, and so I got in on the first
And
episode.
I'm like, Nick, you'll regret skipping an episode of the podcast. I'm going to get a new, more popular co-host. And then I did, and his name?
Negan.
Liam S. Smith. The second.
The second Liam's... Wait, is it just you talking back and forth to yourself?
Yeah, but are there 2 of me?
What does this sound like to you?
Hi, I'm Liam. And I'm Liam.
Wait, why is one of you so aggressive and one of you so subdued?
I'm doing tone.
Oh.
Tonal differences. That's right, Liam.
I genuinely would love to hear if someone edited together you having an argument with yourself from...
Well, they can't edit it together because they
There's literally hours upon hours of material.
It would just be like, hello, Liam. I am...
Yeah, well,
spliced together words.
No, you get like sentences together and then you use them. You know, there's that whole
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
How is this? No, this is a thing. People
Clearly, you would just do it by feeding all of my audio into like a vocal AI thing.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Can we deep fake our
No, I mean,
voices?
we're not going to.
But can we?
Except for this episode and all subsequent episodes, which will be produced by the algorithm.
If you ever thought Nick was sleep deprived and gave bad content, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's right. We've been slowly getting Nick to say dumber and dumber shit so that when we just pivot to AI randomized stuff.
No one knows the difference.
This is our JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast, JoJo's World, where today we are talking about Stone Ocean Episode 10. Stone Ocean, of course, being the 6th part of the manga and anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure by Hirohiko Araki.
My favourite.
Yeah, mine too.
He is literally the greatest being on the planet.
Episode 10, not episode 10 as I dubbed last week's episode when I misspoke.
You fool!
But episode 10 this week, Operation Savage Garden, parentheses, head to the courtyard, end parentheses, part 1.
Wait, where's the exclamation mark?
There isn't one.
There
no,
isn't
sorry, it's after courtyard.
Come on.
Head to the courtyard!
Close parentheses.
Part 1.
Ooh.
When you add the part 1 to that, that's a fucking hell of a name. Operation Savage Garden, head to the courtyard.
Part 1.
It covers chapters 634 through 637 of the manga.
That's average. That's average. That's a good quantity.
Nick, last week we were talking briefly at the end of the episode about how, we're getting towards the end of the first batch of... When I say last week, of course, I mean 2 weeks ago.
Which was, of course, in our minds.
And of course, by the
month.
time this episode comes out, it will be literally a month ago.
Oh my god.
But I was talking about how we're getting towards the end of the first batch of Stone Ocean episodes, and we don't know when the next batch is coming. Later that day, they announced that Stone Ocean Batch 2 will be coming to Netflix in Q3 2022. So we're looking at a September minimum.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to figure out something else to do with the podcast in the meantime.
Well, I mean, we can just put it on the back. You know, the podcast can sit quietly, sulking in the background, much like our fans who will be weeping for content. They'll just be like, oh, but JoJo's World.
And we'll be like, do not grow addicted to content, lest you resent its absence.
And they'll be all like, but we wish for more, my lord.
And then we pull a big lever marked like Patreon content.
It's like, we can't open the gates, can we? And you'll be like, Nick, we can do whatever the fuck we want. But we wouldn't dare. We don't have that kind of power. It's like, I did it half an hour ago. And then they all turn into big aliens.
Is that, Watchmen?
Indeed it is.
You just kind of pivoted from Fury Road to Watchmen
Yeah.
pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm a very tired boy. No, I don't know, mate. Are we gonna do different shows again?
I mean, we might.
Yeah,
we,
much like-
we really haven't talked about it.
because these aren't the dark ages so much as the dimly lit ages.
Yeah, it's
The nascent.
it's like all the time periods that all the Dark Souls games take place in. Like the Age of Fire is fading, but it's not pure darkness
yeah.
yet.
It's a bit of a Twilight Zone. What's it called?
Basically what I'm telling you is we're going to walk through the city like fighting mindless zombies and big demon gods.
But we're still like, we're still.
And it's going to be a podcast. It's going to be like, Nick, I'm running low on Estus, help me.
Look, I would genuinely, in that time, figure out how to stream the Death Stranding hardest difficulty and just stream it. I would genuinely do that.
Okay.
Just putting that out as possible content. And just me being like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, let's talk about this not while we're recording the podcast.
Never.
But yeah, we'll probably do something, but we just don't know yet.
Yeah. It's hard to say because we have so many options. And I know that every single person has been like, why don't you just do this? And we'll be like, but is that Jojo's world? Is that...
Does it have that certain je ne sais quoi?
Is it the thing that the thing is? Or is it more Kishibe Rohan? Because we want
That was
latter.
utterly incoherent.
Or is it
I think
like...
there is a new bit of Kishibe Rohan content.
But it's not on Netflix.
No. But there is the live action Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan.
Ooh. Okay, we'll put that on the fucking list.
That is just the same episodes again, though, but in live action.
Yeah, which I want to see.
Okay. Anywho, yeah.
Jojo's World.
That's what JoJo's world has come to.
Highlights and love.
As we scrape at the crumbs of Netflix for just, please sir, may I have another episode?
And then that guy at the top is like, oh, you want content, do you?
Who's that guy at the top?
The CEO guy who's like, we don't need to make good content. We just need to make content.
We just need to fire everyone all the time.
Yeah. Tell me, boy, do you want to watch something? And you're like, every day of my life, sir, I yearn for it. And you're like, I see. And do you want to make references to that content? Sir, I want to make the memes. Well then, let me show you a little show called Invincible.
I don't know what that is.
Well,
anyway.
shit. Yeah, okay. Jojo's Bizarre
Adventure. Episode 10, Operation Savage Garden, Head to the Courtyard, Part 1. This is an episode in which our friend Jolene Cujo has 20 minutes to get to a courtyard. The episode goes for approximately 23 minutes. She does not reach the courtyard.
No.
But all is well.
Yeah.
Namek will explode any minute now.
So this is probably the episode where I have cemented that this is a very surreal part. Like, a lot of shit happens that's just really fucking weird.
It is a bizarre adventure.
But, like, this is weird as fuck, this episode, right?
How so?
So, like, well, we'll get to it, but, like, the powers that they start describing are just very weird.
I feel like the two in this episode are actually pretty straightforward.
No, in terms of, like...
The three, I suppose. I mean, one of them is weird.
Yeah, one of them is super weird, but gets used in ways that you're like, wait, you can do that? Huh? Like, Baseball Boy just comes out of a slit in a wall, and
I will, however, say, Nick, in terms of weird powers in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean,
yeah,
you haven't seen anything yet.
Oh, God, okay.
Very much looking forward to a particular late-game power that rears its awesome head.
It's the False Hydra. No, I don't know.
Okay.
Are you aware of the False Hydra?
No.
It's a Hydra.
And I refuse to be.
That is false. Okay.
So,
we open.
We do. Jolene, flush with cash from having beaten the shit out of Miroshone.
Whoa, you're forgetting the preamble.
No, I'm not.
There's a bit before the opening.
No, that's the Netflix thing that... And also, why would we cover a recap of previous episode
because
content?
It might have new content.
But it doesn't.
But it could. You know when they have those recaps that are actually, like, they slip in an unshown scene, like deleted footage?
Well, what was that fucking scene that they always put in Game of Thrones things, even though it was rarely relevant?
Oh... No, because it showed up in every previously on.
Yeah.
And it was like Ned Stark being all like, winter is coming. Or something like that.
Something like super broad like that.
And you're just like...
We know.
Okay. But like, nothing has come of that yet. But winter was coming.
So, as I was saying before, you so rudely interrupted me.
But that's what I do.
Jolene, flush with cash from her victory over Miroshone, pushes her way through the phone line and gives the phone hog lady a
The phone hog lady.
Yeah, her business is hogging the phone, then making people pay her to use it.
No, she's the cafeteria lady who just so happens to hog the phone.
So phone hogging is just her side hustle. It's her passion project.
Exactly. She wakes up at 7:30 in the morning, gets to the phone before anyone else, and is like, yeah, you better pay up. And then when cafeteria time
Then
comes...
she puts in a solid 8-hour shift at the cafeteria, and then she goes back to still being in prison.
Yep. For some reason. Wait, is she an inmate?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought she was an employee for a second.
No.
It's just like, yeah, she lives in prison. I'm like, why does she live in prison?
That's why she's wearing a
Orange...
orange top with the prison name on it.
Yeah. Well, I just thought, doesn't the warden also have a jacket like that?
Don't think so.
Oh, okay. Never mind. God, now I'm reminded of the fucking warden. Ugh. So she...
Flush with cash from her victory over Mirror show. She approaches the phone hog. I'm just acting like I wrote this big monologue.
She approaches the phone hog.
And gives her a stick of gum and it's like, I'm on the phone now. And then she pops open the top of the gum and it's full of folded up $50 notes.
My favourite kind of gum.
The $50 note, of course, features the face of...
James Franklin.
James Franco.
James Franco?
Yep. The Joker.
Soon to be in Morbius. Who is on the $50
It's
note?
Morbin time. That's a good joke I've seen on Twitter about Morbius.
Oh, the greatest film ever made.
I don't really know anything about Morbius the movie or the character.
Okay.
And I refuse to learn.
Well, Benjamin Franklin's on the $50 note, so that's a good start, right?
So the phone hog lady gives Jolene the phone.
What are we doing this episode? This whole episode.
And I'm just pushing through.
So the phone hog lady, flush with cash from Jolene's
victory over Mirror show.
Yep.
And like rolls out the red carpet, real premium service for her, like snatches a Coke from another inmate. Here's a complimentary drink and here's a seat for you.
Oh, yes, the Coca-Cola.
Feel free to ask me to use the phone and give me a huge wad of cash anytime.
And Jolene's like, yeah, I'm just going to use the phone. Thank you. Goodbye.
Jolene has previously off-screen looked up the phone number of the Speedwagon Foundation's headquarters in Dallas, Texas. Speedwagon, of course, made his millions by striking rich in oil in the US. So it makes sense that he's in Texas.
The
foundation.
The foundation, yes. Their headquarters in Texas.
Yeah. Still watching over the body of Wamu under UV light. Not Wamu, Santana. Under UV lights.
To this very day. Will it become plot relevant? Maybe.
So, like, she gets receptionist, like, we don't collect calls from this number. Which is interesting because I thought this was a payphone.
It is a payphone.
And she has heaps of cash from her victory over Mirror show.
Yeah. They don't collect calls from this number.
So she's like, this is the only number I have. My name's Jolene Cujo, and I want to speak to your manager.
The receptionist at that point literally shits herself and is like, what have I done?
What she actually says is, I'm an inmate here at Green Dolphin Street. My name is Jolene Cujo. Put me through to someone who knows what that means.
And the reception lady is like, please hold. It's like basically you answering the phone saying, hey, what up? It's Nick. Leave a message. And then your boss is like,
I'm the Prime Minister.
And you literally just go,
well, I didn't vote for you.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I just imagine the receptionist like putting Jolene on hold and it's like, yeah, I've got a Jolene Cujo on the line. And then all like the CEO was like, put her right through to me.
Do you understand what you've done? Do you understand what you've done, you stupid
You're risking
receptionist?
upsetting one of the Joestar family who basically exists to please.
But they haven't done anything
You
for us.
see, over 100 years ago, one of them kicked our founder really hard, but not as hard as he could have.
Could you imagine, right, in real life...
And there's like a big lush painting of it, of that moment on the wall.
Could you imagine, right, in real life, okay, just imagine... McDonald's, right?
Okay.
They get a phone call from a guy.
It's like Ronald McDonald House or the food restaurants.
The food restaurants,
okay.
Right? Like McDonald's, the biggest profitable company in the world. Yeah?
I don't know if that's true, but okay.
It's fucking huge, whatever. So imagine they get a phone call and it's like, hi, like from a prison somewhere. That's like, hey, my name is Jonathan Joestar. And the receptionist is just like, okay, Jonathan Joestar, what do you want? It's like, well, I'm stuck in a prison right now. Can you put me through to someone who knows what that means? You're like, I guess, put down the phone, look up, and there's just this giant thing that says, if a Joestar calls, put it through to
Ronald McDonald.
and then you put it through to Ronald McDonald, and he's like, howdy.
Yeah, that's what he sounds like.
Yep. And it's like, Ronald, the end times are near. It's like, the Hawk's leaving the base.
Hang on, why does the receptionist say that? Because the whole thing of this bit we're doing is the receptionist doesn't know.
Yeah, the receptionist would know because there's a big plaque there.
Yeah, it doesn't know the... Oh, fuck.
Okay, but what I'm saying is in real life, they'd have to know, right? So there'd just be a plaque that's like, if a Joestar
Yeah, they don't have
calls.
context.
I guess, yeah. Ronald McDonald walks out of his elaborate... he walks out of his labyrinth to hold in his power, like his massive cage, and then he just walks out and he's like, everyone, I got great news. It's time. No one knows what he's talking about. He explains in depth the long, winding history of the Joestars and the McDonald families.
Actors who have played Ronald McDonald include Willard Scott,
Who's that?
Michael Poliakovs,
Oh, yeah.
Bev Bergeron,
Oh, yeah, he was a good
Burger.
one.
Ray Rayner, George Voris,
Ooh,
Bob Brandon,
Ooh.
King Moody,
King Moody.
Squire Friedel,
Okay, this is not
Jack Dupke,
real. No.
David Hussey, and Brad Lennon.
Okay, these names got weirder and weirder as we went on.
That's why I thought you would enjoy that list.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so
Point being, this lady's like, I'll put you onto someone.
Yeah.
Hey, there's someone here. Don't you dare, you foolish
he's like,
receptionist.
hey, I work for the Speedwagon Foundation. I'm a scientist. I'm not a stand user.
And Jolene is like, hey, what up? So I have a disc here. It's a very important disc. It has my dad's stand on it. Can I get it to you?
Yes, you see, your dad has been retrieved to a secure location not here in Dallas. Wink. He's on life support, but he's not doing well. Great. Well, if I get you this disc, it will bring him back to life. Okay. Well, hang on. I want to do the exact phrasing here. Mm-hmm. If I say that we can bring him back to life, will you believe me? And then he says, I am merely a scientist. I cannot comment.
Which I thought, very professional of him. Very respectable. But also, why can't you comment? What?
As a scientist, I could not begin to comment on magical discs and their impact on the human body.
Isn't this your area of study? It might be. But I couldn't possibly, I wouldn't dare. Not to a Joestar.
So she's like, I want you to come up with a plan for me to get this disc to you. And he's like, okay, but isn't this conversation being listened to? Yep. Okay.
Even the wink?
Especially the wink. Okay. By the way, I'm not allowed visitors. Okay, sure. Can you get to the courtyard in 20 minutes?
Look, I'm on a direct flight from Dallas. And Jolene's like, 20 minutes? What?
Which means she would be due there at 12:05.
Oh, that's 12:05. That's in the afternoon.
Yep.
That's different from the morning.
If you instruct us to retrieve the discs, we will do everything we can to do so. If you say he will be revived, we believe you. However, we are a non-militaristic medical research foundation.
The most anime line I've ever
I
heard.
guess they really demilitarized in the years since World War II when their special forces famously fought vampires.
Look, they're non-militaristic.
Alongside the Nazis.
Non-militaristic doesn't mean unarmed, right? Surely.
Unlike most other US organizations in the aftermath of World War II, the Speedwagon Foundation stopped working with Nazis.
McDonald's
Operation Paperclip. Look it up.
McDonald's famously started pre-World War II. They continued working with the Nazis.
Yeah, of course, King Moody was a prominent figure in the Third Reich.
Don't you remember the famous McDonald's song? Yeah, I'm loving it. Reichland.
I don't know
Is
what
that a
that
thing?
means.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
You said it!
Wait, no, that's a Warhammer Fantasy reference. Never mind. Forget I said anything. But we all know who the real Nazi is.
Nick, did you hit your head?
I don't know. I've been so sleep deprived. So, last time I was already sleepy. This week, I'm just downright dead. We could say anything and I'd think it was funny.
But we won't. So, she's like, okay, I'll get to the courtyard. What will happen then? I don't want to say over the phone, but please look for Savage Garden.
I believe in the English translation of the dub and sub, it's known as Savage Guardian.
Let's call it Operation Savage Garden for now.
God damn it. So she hangs up the phone and
She's
is all
like,
like,
what's Savage Garden?
is that a person, an object, or a thing?
An object or a thing? Well, I've got to get to the courtyard.
So she walks on, well, she details out on a map.
Yeah, there's like I like these scenario maps we see, just like, it gives us an idea of the geography of the prison, which is fun, even though, like, broadly speaking, it doesn't, the only thing that's really relevant is that they have to go through a factory before the courtyard.
Which I don't think is on this map.
And some security checkpoints.
Yeah.
She bribes those same two guards that strip searched her as she was getting inducted into the prison. We can skip over that.
And wiped her down with...
Jolene is just throwing cash around this episode.
Oh, she got so much. Yeah. Like, Michonne was like, yeah, I've got like 3K. She's like, all right, it's mine now.
Yep. Gonna bribe the phone lady, gonna bribe this guard, gonna bribe that next guard.
Oh, she is flushed. She starts sprinting up the stairs.
But then she's like, I've got to get to the courtyard. Nothing can stand in my way. Immediately, Emporio distracts her.
Throws a ball into the air. Is like, hey, Jolene, do not catch this baseball.
She tries to catch the baseball.
God damn it, Jolene.
Her.
And then Emporio's like, we need to get out of here,
We
Jolene.
can't let others see us. And everything's going swirly like a flashback is starting.
We're all asleep down here, Jolene.
And then she's in an old music room with antique pots, like some pop art posters and a big piano. There's a man in the piano and there's another man behind the piano. And Emporio is also there.
And Jolene's like, but I need to get to the courtyard.
Jolene's like immediately distracted. She's like, who are those guys? And he says, it's fine, they can be trusted. Can we talk about the appearance of these guys?
Yes, dear God, can we?
We learn a bit about one of them in this episode, so let's start with him. His name's Weather Report. He's got amnesia.
He can't remember how he got here.
But he knows he was born a stand user. He assumes that Father Pucci, or they don't know it's Father Pucci, but White Snake took his memory with a disc.
Yep.
But he knows he was born with his own stand.
Yeah. So he can be trusted. He's cool. He's not evil.
He wears like a fur hat with horns coming out of it.
He's got piercing
and like
blue
a
eyes.
blue bodysuit with like arrow-shaped chest cutouts that like kind of like form the pattern of a rib cage.
Ah, that they do. And he is the guy from the opening that we talked about maybe 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So behind him is the other guy from the opening.
Who, is big pink hair,
fishnet,
a flat
everything.
hat, fishnet top.
He's got weird Doppio vibes.
Doesn't really say or do anything in this episode, so we'll come back to them in more detail later. But I do want to share that in this shot in the manga, this character was clearly originally a woman.
I get that
and I've
vibe
got the
from
picture
this.
here of the original design on the left there.
Yeah. And then on the right is the design that came out? Or
They both came out. Just that next appearance, this first picture became this second picture. Or rather, this first person became this second person.
Huh. How interesting.
Now, I don't have the quote on hand, and I may dredge it up for their first substantial appearance.
Yeah.
But basically, people obviously ask Hirohiko Araki, the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like why this person's gender seemed to change between their appearances. And what he said was that he wanted this character to be someone who was like androgynous and played with the ideas of gender, but then they just seemed to go from a woman to a man and then stayed that for the rest of the time.
So it's a bit like, oh yeah, I wanted it to just be like, you know, you weren't really sure, it didn't really matter, you know, maybe a bit in between. But I drew it as a man after a while, because goddamn.
Not even after a while, just after literally his first appearance.
It's like, did you remember that you wanted an androgynous character? It's like, I what? Did I say that?
Couldn't be me.
You said that literally last sentence. Where am I?
Who am I?
You're Hirohiko Araki. Oh, that's good, because I have to draw a new chapter. Goodbye. That's weird. That's really weird that he would...
It is, it's very weird.
Yeah, after one appearance. Maybe it was so feminine that everyone went, yeah, it's a lady. And then it was like, no, it needs to be androgynous. And then accidentally went too far.
Well,
And then committed. Who knows?
this is just purely speculation that I've seen, and this is a bit of a spoiler, so forgive me for that. But this character like gets kind of into Jolene over the course of things. So like, I wonder if people have I've read people speculate about whether or not like it was like, oh no, you can't have like a lesbian relationship.
Yeah, they've already talked about masturbation in the first 5 minutes. You can't have a lesbian relationship in Japan. That's not allowed.
But more on this character later. In the meantime, our man Weather Report.
Yeah, boy! With his fur hat and his horny demeanor.
Yeah, so The other character leaves pretty quickly, but Weather Report stays around, and Emporio tells us a bit about him.
So, if I remember right, there's 3 trivia facts about him.
Yep.
He likes to walk on his tippy toes.
Yep.
He had his stand from birth.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to lean in when he's talking to people because he doesn't like to talk very loudly.
Yeah,
or talk
and you
very
can
much.
feel his lukewarm breath on you when he
Yeah.
talks. And also,
There was another thing.
Yeah, he doesn't watch TV, but he loves reading TV guides.
I am right there with you, buddy. It's like you know what's on, but you don't want to watch it, you know? There's too much choice. And so you're like, but what are the choices? And that's the real appeal.
I've also got the Jojo Valet commentary for Weather Report.
Hit me with it.
It's a stand that controls the weather, so I made it look like clouds. I wanted to make frogs and all sorts of other stuff fall from the sky, maybe like a Beastmaster. Its host wears a buffalo hat.
Is that it?
Yep.
God fucking damn it, Araki. You genius.
And without giving too much away, in future, we do see some things that really stretch the definition of weather control.
Well, to be fair, in this episode alone, we really see a stretch of, yes, I can materialize ghost objects.
What?
That's
Emporio's
yeah, that's
power.
Emporio's power.
Yep.
We really see some shit that stretches that, though.
I don't know if we do, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay.
And just while we're on it, I know I read Emporio's Jojo Valet commentary in a previous episode. However, I don't think I shared at the time that his stand's name, as yet unnamed, but I'm sure I'll surely forget if I don't go into it now,
Yep.
is Burning Down the House. Because he can interact with the ghost of the old prison, right?
Burning down the house.
Which burnt down. Much like the Nemuro Memorial Hall burnt down, causing the deaths of 100 students.
I remember that well. That led to, what's-his-face?
The formation of the Black Rose Society.
Which no one remembers now,
No.
but we all remember.
Nick, Weather Report was an American jazz fusion band
Whoa,
active
whoa,
from 1970 to 1986.
I know all about Weather Report.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to tell me about Birdland.
Then please tell me about Weather Report.
Weather Report has, what's his name? The bassist.
You know all about
Yeah, I
Weather
know
Report.
all of it, right? That bassist, right, is fucking insane. Oh god, what's his name? He's like, he has like a fucking wicked last name.
Cannonball Adderley.
Not him. Nope, keep going.
Okay, well, here's their list of past members. So
Is it Jaco?
stop me when I get to
Okay,
it.
I think it's Jaco.
Joe Zawinul.
Nope.
Wayne Shorter.
No, keep going.
Jaco Pastorius.
That's the guy. That's the guy. So he made Birdland fucking wicked, sick, cool shit. So they're like, they went like full jazz fusion back in the 80s.
Okay.
And if you think about the sound of...
They did the jazz fusion dance.
Yeah, if you think about the sound of Jazzercise meets the Becker intro...
I cannot imagine that at all. I
That's-
cannot imagine either element of that, so...
That's the sound of their jazz fusion. It's so ridiculously of that time that when you hear it, you'll go, wow, that sounds like something between the 80s and 90s that didn't quite reach either period to fruition. It's like, yeah, that's because that's all that jazz was because Weather Report happened.
Cool.
They were so influential. They were so powerful. They were gods among men.
Here's what Joseph
Yeah.
Zawinul has to say about his gradual takeover of Weather Report. In the beginning, let's say Weather Report was a joint thing. Then, after the second album, there's no question about it, became more and more my group. Wayne wanted it like that, but we were always partners in crime. No Wayne, no Weather Report.
Ooh.
Here are some more members of Weather Report that I want to keep listing.
Hang on, how many members are there?
Many.
Oh, God.
So I got up to Jaco Pastorius.
Who is the guy? He's the bassist. He's the man.
Miroslav Vitus.
Jesus.
Alphonse Mouzon. Don Alias.
I'm sorry, hang on. His name is Don Alias.
That's a show about a spy.
That is a show about a spy.
Erto Morera. Maruga Booker. Dom Romao. Or Romeo. Eric Gravett. Greg Erico.
Are these all the names that Don Alias has donned for?
Yeah, he's donned many an alias. He's a master of disguise. Alfonso Johnson. No, he doesn't have to call him Johnson.
Oh, God fucking damn it.
Narada Michael Walden.
Wow.
Chester Thompson.
Well, I want to
Now,
be
he
him.
doesn't have to call him Thompson.
You can call me Don, or you can call me Alias. No other names, please.
Alex Acuna. Manolo Badrena.
These are all just Tekken characters.
Peter Erskine. Robert Thomas Jr.
These are all Tekken characters.
Omar Hakim. Victor Bailey. Mino Sinelu. Or Chinelu, I'm not sure. And finally, Steve Gadd.
These are all Tekken characters. You can just imagine them on the front screen where it's like, Dawn! I can't remember literally any other names that you said.
Greg.
Yep.
Chester.
Yep. Jaco.
And that's Weather Report.
They're pretty good. I would dare say they're one of the best jazz fusion.
I would dare say they're a jazz fusion band.
I'd say they're quite good. If you like jazz fusion and you like your context, you should go listen to them. They're pretty good.
Weather Report also sleeps in the piano a lot.
In real life?
In
Jojo's, yes. I was just like, Jaco slept in the piano?
So, but we got distracted talking about Weather Report. Basically, Emporio talks a lot about how his stand ability lets him interact with the ghosts of objects because the prison burnt down and had to be reconstructed. So he's recreated with his power the ghost of the old music room that he hangs out in as a safe space.
And Jolene's like, wait, does that mean
you're ghosts?
And Emporio's like, don't be a fucking stupid
People
moron.
don't have ghosts, Jolene. Only objects have ghosts.
Look at me. I clearly am not a ghost. I'm warm. I have a pulse. This, however, this orange juice is a ghost. No pulse.
Look, I can drink it and it falls right out, but it still tastes good.
I can only use them. I can't drink them.
I can eat this Nars bar.
And it just falls right out of him. He's like, see? Ghost. Me? Not ghost. Warm. Pulse.
Very simple.
That's how this works, Jolene. Do you not know anything about ghosts? Good God. Do I have to explain everything to you, Jolene? I'm Emporio, baseball boy.
It's true, he is.
Look, I can even use, and then this is the bit that really fucking weirded me out. He pulls out the trash can.
That he hid in a previous episode. Except he didn't actually hide in that trash can in a previous episode because that was part of the weird, whack stream they had.
No, it was very strange. But he's like, I use this trash can to get around the prison. And he pulls it out of his pocket.
Yeah, like a cartoon character.
And it just sort of expands. What, Emporio?
He's a cartoon character.
Now, Liam, I don't know if anime would be considered a cartoon. I'd call it Japanese animation.
Emporio wants to tag along and... Weather Report wants to tag along and help. So they all squeeze out of a crack in the wall.
Which, again, is another thing that's weirding me out because he can only use ghost objects.
Maybe he's manifesting the ghost of a hallway that used to be there.
What the fuck? Just on so many levels, just the things he does is like, no, it's ghost. And you're like, yeah, but he can only use them. It's like, yeah. It's because it's a ghost. I'm like, no. What? So he just comes out of a crack in the wall, and he's all like weird and flat for a bit, and then he unflattens and
they're in the real music room now, the alive music room.
Yeah, they come back.
The one that's not a ghost.
They come back, and he comes out of a small slit in the wall. He's like, hello.
Weather Report uses some wind and rain to knock over some pens, such that they play a little song on the piano.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
That unlocks a secret door.
Which opens, and then Weather Report's like...
they can go down to the lab beneath the prison.
And Weather Report's like, someone's watching us in that lab.
Pretend you didn't notice him. There's no actual lab. I was doing a Resident Evil bit.
But I like to believe there's a lab in this prison.
And they can see perfectly in the puddle by the door the face of, like, a man wearing a chocolate mask and goggles.
Chocolate mask?
Yeah.
It's melted over his eyes. You can't see his pupils. I don't know how he sees out of it, but he's a weirdo. So, yeah.
And then we get the commercial interstitial pop-up for his as-yet unmet stand, Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Now, this, I don't know who this is a reference to.
It's like the song by Rolling Stones, Jumping Jack Flash.
Is it?
Famously performed in the climax of Elite Beat Agents, when the agents and the people they have helped throughout the game realize that the invading aliens can be harmed by the power of music and a good beat, so they use that power to de-petrify the people of the world and fuck up the aliens.
Oh, nice. With Rolling Stones.
Well, it's a cover, because all the songs in that game are covers, but yes.
Okay, alright. It's a very, very covered cover.
But more on Jumpin' Jack Flash next time when we see more of it.
All we know about him right now is that the stand user has sucky fingers.
Yes, and toes.
Like an octopus, but on his fingers.
And toes.
And it's just...
He's gross.
weird. Yeah, he's
and
a
he
weirdo.
like crawls around on all fours, and he's got sneakers. The laces of his sneakers are tied around his ankles, but he's not wearing his shoes.
He's a weird, perverted freak. He's got real Voldo vibes.
Yeah, he's a fucked up little guy.
Who just likes to crawl around. And he's got... Does he have a codpiece, actually?
Unclear.
We'll find out later.
They're running away from him, and Jolene's like, if he's a stand user, we should take him on now. And Weather Report's carrying Emporio, who is shouting back, no, he doesn't know you're going to the courtyard yet, otherwise he'd be waiting for you there. So let's get to the courtyard. And as they go up the stairwell, he spits at them, and Jolene doesn't realise, but we see it makes slight contact with her pants. Crucially, for later.
Oh, God.
Emporio leaves now.
He's just like,
first they hide in the void inside a jacket.
The ghost of the jacket that they can hide in the void of. What the fuck is going on?
And they're all
with this
peeking
stand
out
pal?
of it like the Three Stooges. Or like the Scooby-Doo gang looking around a doorway.
Yeah. So this is another bit of a fucking stretch. And I'm like, come on, man. Ghosts. This isn't what we just... anyway. And they all talk in the void, which apparently is infinite in size. But what? It's fun. It's fun.
And they agree that Jolene should get there as soon as possible because risk will only increase. And they recap the route again. She has to go through the route back to the men's prison, which goes through the medical ward and then the factory.
The yet as indescript and unknown factory.
Yeah. Of course, we know the medical ward from Hermes' time there.
Indeed. But the factory, ooh.
There could be anything there.
It could be literally
It's
anything.
a real, From Software game, level progression. To get to the courtyard, you have to progress through the medical ward. Watch out for the patients and doctors there. Then the factory, where you'll encounter dangerous machinery and factory workers.
And then once you get down to the bottom, they're like, great, you've now reached the Den of Hills. And you're like, is this a reference to Silent Hill? They're like, oh yes. And then some weird nurses come out and you're like, I liked Silent Hill more than this.
Tell the guards that you need to get your shoes repaired at the factory and bribe them and they'll let you through. But don't get caught when you get past the factory or they'll shoot you and add 5 years to your sentence.
So it's a real,
That's
do
a
it or
real,
die.
Forgive me for referring to Harry Potter, that cursed
Don't you fucking
subject
bring
matter.
this hit, yeah.
But that's real, you could get killed or worse, expelled vibes. They'll shoot you and add 5 years to your sentence.
Wait, but I can't have 5 years added to my sentence. I'll be dead. How will I serve that? They'll take your corpse and put you in a room.
Weather Report goes ahead, and as he passes by the guard opens his Coca-Cola can.
Sorry, not Coca-Cola, please. His Coca-Cola.
And he's like, what's wrong with this cola? And he pours it into a cup, and it's floating out the top.
And neither of either Jolene or the guard seem particularly perturbed.
Because then Jolene is standing right there.
Yeah, they don't seem particularly off-put by the floating liquid.
Another day in Green Dolphin Street Prison,
When you when you open up your fresh Coca-Cola and it just floats in the air. Oh,
wow, it's really fizzy.
Classic.
He's like, you touched it, you shook it up, didn't you? And she says, no, I only touched the plate, and moves the plate, and there's a little, a $50 note beneath it.
A little bloody Benjamin bloody Franklin sitting underneath that bloody $50 bloody note.
So I really like this exchange because of the dumb protagonist intelligence that everyone is displaying.
Yeah.
So she takes off her shoe and is like, my shoe's got a hole in it. Can I go through and get it repaired? Previously he had told her to go get him a new coat because she shook it up.
Yeah.
And then he stands up and pockets the 50 and is like,
as he does,
where's that wash rag? I've got to go clean up this Coke. And because gravity stuff starts to happen, the note floats out of his pocket and hits Jolene in the back, and she feels it. It's like, you want me to go get you another one? And then she looks in her shoe, and the glass is in there because it's floating now too.
And she's like,
she doesn't realize. And you want me to pour it in this glass? Give me a break.
She turns around and then notices that the plate is also floating.
Yeah, only now does she realize things are amiss.
The shoe glass play wasn't enough to tick her off.
And then he's like, here's the wash rag. You can go, but be back into... Oh, she's already gone. And then... basically, from what I can surmise, is she's basically gone directly through this gate here, then immediately floated up to the ceiling.
I guess?
At this point, Nick said to me, you stole fizzy lifting drink.
I mean, look, I can't help that that's all I thought about
Yep.
this entire section was like, wait, did the Coke do this?
So basically, she realized that since that guy started chasing her, he must have spit. Yeah, he spit at her, and that's making gravity not affect her and things she touches. The disc floats out of her pocket, and she loses it. She tries to thread it, but she can't with no gravity.
Oh, the precious conservation of momentum does not help her. With each, did you know that every force has an equal and opposite force?
That sounds fake.
Well, every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction. So if I were to thread a disc, I'd be pushed back an equal amount.
Okay,
Thus, I could never, ever possibly thread the disc.
cool.
And that's what we're seeing. Isn't that amazing? Isn't physics great, Liam? Isn't physics amazing? We get these high concept moments in JoJo.
The guy is here. He grabs the disc
Ah, shit.
and he tries to snap it, but it's too rubbery.
He's conserving his momentum using his little sucklets on his
Yeah,
fingers.
he's just walking along the wall and jumping off when he needs to.
And that is why he sucks to
He's
the
got
walls.
the grossest fingies.
Yeah, and he tries to break the disc, but the disc does not break.
I already said that.
In fact, it breaks his mind, or should I say, his conception of the disc would break. It doesn't. It doesn't break. It's all rubbery. It's all like, oh, I thought I could break it, but it's made of rubber. And he's all
Jolene
like,
throws the glass that she's still holding, and then threads it and shouts down the string to Weather Report. Because she couldn't just shout.
no,
She has to use her stand power to communicate.
yeah, to get further distance with the shout, right?
Can you hear me? I'm being attacked. He took my disc. Where she thinks he doesn't hear, but then he comes sprinting back.
Oh, good old Weather
Just
Report.
quiet Weather Report, all business. Great sprinting form.
Really leaning
Weather
in.
Report's a cool guy. Fucking weirdo, but a cool guy.
He sleeps in a piano.
He
And
walks
he-
on his tippy toes.
These alone make him one of the coolest JoJo's
Loves to
characters.
read the TV guide.
Ooh, but he
Doesn't like
doesn't
watching
watch-
TV very much.
He doesn't waste time, but he's apprised of what's on TV.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, it's like you don't watch.
Weather
what's on
Report
TV?
would like listen to a podcast about posting, but wouldn't use Twitter.
Yes, in fact, Weather Report's like me in that he will often ask how things are going about things that he himself does not engage with
Yeah.
because he's interested.
Weather Report will read the Wikipedia plot synopsis for a horror movie, but not watch the horror movie.
Yeah, Weather
Too
Report,
scary.
Weather Report will, on occasion, go see a movie with his friends, but then decide at the last minute, actually, nah, you know what? I don't want to be a bother and, you know, possibly go to a super spreader event. Do you guys, like, want to come to my house? We'll watch it there, but we'll still go to the arcade.
Which is ironic
at the
because
movie
Weather
theater
Report could
beforehand.
just use his weather powers to ensure that no transmission droplets reach him.
Oh, shit, actually. Oh, shit, that's a good idea. Weather Report's invincible in this day and
In this
age.
age of COVID.
Yeah. He could never get... Although his immune system would probably be the weakest thing in the world.
That's true, unless he can selectively let other droplets through.
Oh, yeah. Every year he's like, I need to get a cold. Come this way. Small
Weather
puppy."
Report will read the track listing on the back of an album, but not actually listen to the album.
And then ask people, so what's your favourite song? And try to discern what the song sounds like.
Yeah.
Very sage, Weather Report. Weather Report feels like the kind of guy who, even
He's
though...
a stupid idiot, but doesn't show it.
Yeah, he sounds like the kind of guy who, even if you messed up his name and you're like, oh, your name is Weather Forecast, he'd be like, yeah, that's my name. Yeah. And then see how long it took for you to realize, oh, your name's not Weather Forecast, it's Weather Report. But he wouldn't make it a big deal, you know? And then he'd go sleep in his piano.
Yeah. And he'd shut the top of it and go clong.
And you'd be like, is he angry at me? And then he'd like peer through and he'd just play like...
Play a slide whistle as his head comes up.
Yep. He'd play it on the piano. He's like, no.
Or he would just use his weather powers to play a slide whistle that's on the other side of the room.
Would he, before emerging from the piano every day, he'd get those pens that he played the piano with, and he'd make that dun 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 sound.
Yeah.
And then he'd emerge and be all like,
But like
today's forecast
the
is
way
I'm
he
awake.
emerges, he's
Yeah.
not like standing up with his hands and climbing
Yeah.
to his feet. It's as if he's standing on an elevator platform that's coming up from underneath the piano. So
Yeah.
it's just his head and then his shoulders standing perfectly upright emerging.
Today's forecast.
Weather.
It's me, Weather Forecast. And then they'd be like, isn't your name Weather Report? He's like,
It doesn't really matter to me because I've got amnesia.
Weather Report seems like the kind of guy who would make a jazz album.
Anyway, so, Jolene, like, shouts at him as he runs past, like, hey, don't touch me or any other floating stuff because it'll take away your gravity. That's his power. And then this other guy summons his stand, which looks like him, but even more Voldo-y because it's got a, like, bondage belt around its eyes and, like...
his sewed mouth shut or something?
And it's got a huge, like, gyroscopes on its wrists.
I don't even...
Or turbines.
Yeah, massive turbines on its wrist with, like, little slits to shoot things
And he uses centrifugal force to build up massive momentum and then fire, like, bolts and nuts.
Hey, do you know what centrifugal force is? Because I fucking know.
That's like when you tie yourself to a tree with a loose knot and then you run around the tree pulling at the very edge of the rope and you wear a, like, a track into the tree.
I think that's called being a fucking moron, but you're half right. So, like, imagine... So, like, you're in a circle, yeah? And, like, you're going this way.
Nick's doing a lot of hand motions indicating circles.
Like, you're moving... Okay, let's say you're moving clockwise.
Can I just short circuit this by saying, yes, I know what centrifugal force is?
No, but what if I don't? Well, what's centripetal force, then?
I don't know.
Liam, I trusted you. I trusted everything you said. You were like...
Jolene's just floating there, like...
Yeah.
So, I love this phrasing. This might be a translation thing, but...
Can I just say, even though we keep bringing up Megami Hunter's subs as being like, something weird's going on, it just adds to the vibe.
No judgment to her, like... almost certainly, like, not being paid for the quality of and amount of the work she's doing.
No, and she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Megami, you're doing a great fucking job. Don't let us bring you down.
Something's, like, just strange phrasing here. It's like, weather report. This man who is said to control the weather. Like, he's not said to. One person told you that, and then you saw him do it.
Also,
weather report, this man who controls the weather.
Also, I don't know if it controls the weather so much as makes clouds. Like,
He creates and controls weather phenomenon, essentially. He's a storm.
I guess?
He's an X-Men storm.
Yeah, but he hasn't made an actual storm yet.
Well, not yet. You've only seen him do a couple of things.
This isn't even his final form.
It's actually not.
No, don't you?
His final form is fucked.
His final form is a swamp. And you're like, wait, how does that help with weather control? Because he's made of water droplets.
Nick, you are not prepared for the second half of part 6.
Well, like, okay, I know that, just a sidebar, but, like, part 5's ending makes me think that part 6's ending is going to be off the fucking chain. Because part 5's ending was, wait, so if I get stabbed with the arrow again, the shit hits the fan and my stand power is literally everything? It's like, well, it already kind of was, but yes, okay. So part 6 has to somehow top that. And I'm like, Jolene Cujo just finds out that if she eats other people's discs...
Jolene Cujo, like, taps into string theory.
Yeah, and she's like, I
am everything.
It's like, oh, can you kill me? It's like, he just dissolves. Just becomes Dr. Manhattan.
There's no need to kill you, for you never existed.
Wait, what? And then Jotaro comes back, he's like, Jolene, I always loved you.
I don't know if that would have picked up on the filter I used, but I made like a wind blowing noise.
I can just imagine she'd just be like, yeah, you know what I'd do with this immense power? What? I mean, I'd probably get a Coca-Cola first, because that shit's good.
We really pivoted from the Pepsi sign of part 4 to the Coca-Cola of part 6. Yeah, but I did see a listing in the manga and anime differences page of the Wikipedia article, Jojopedia article, that in the manga it was a cup of Pepsi.
They betrayed the Pepsi.
Nick, Weather Report deflects or protects himself from the incoming projectiles by creating a layer of air that adds friction and stops them in their tracks.
Small clouds, shall we say. And Jolene describes them as cloud-like, even though they are clearly just small clouds.
Yep.
And then he's like, he's throwing junk at me. What a strange enemy we have here, Jolene. Maybe he'll try again. Maybe.
Weather Report, there's like this like swagger towards him. He's like swaying. Presumably he's walking on his tippy toes.
Well, I mean, he loves to.
Yeah. And Jumping Jack Flash goes for a big punchy, but then a fist forms out of the cloud and punches his punch. And Jumping Jack Flash and the unnamed Stan uses arm catchers on fire.
He's like, aerodynamic friction.
It's like Erika Araki learnt about, like, atmospheric phenomenon, and it's like, I've got to put all of it into the stand immediately.
I don't even know if he learned about it so much as he saw some words and was like, oh, so that must be how this works.
The guy deactivates the zero gravity, and like a vent falls on Weather Report, which temporarily incapacitates him, but also causes the emergency shutters in the hallway to begin to lower.
And he's like, shit, I gotta move. And Jolene Cujo's like, yeah, you do.
Jolene is still floating there for some reason, like, even though the gravity's deactivated.
Wait, didn't she fall?
Nope.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's going to be even harder to get to the courtyard now, and he has the disc. Ugh. Then Weather Report gets back to his feet and is like, haha, if I touch you, I will have no gravity too, and I can use my wind powers to make us fly really quickly through this closing gate.
It's just like the ending of Aladdin.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because they fly off on a magic carpet.
That's not the ending of Aladdin.
And Weather Report's
That's like the halfway point of Aladdin.
Wait, what are you talking about?
When I can show you the world?
Yeah? Isn't that the end of Aladdin?
No.
No, because he goes to her,
Yep.
and then they fly off, and that's the end of Aladdin, right?
No.
The fuck are you talking about?
He goes to her.
Yeah.
He's masquerading as Prince Ali.
Yeah.
Fabulous he, Ali Abwabwa.
Yeah.
He shows her the world.
Yes. And then we end. Because there's no second half of Aladdin.
Okay.
In that there's no season 7 of Game of Thrones. Or season 6? I can't remember. Anyway, there's no season 8
They're in
of
the
Game of Thrones.
factory.
Yeah.
But their nemesis is waiting for them to be continued.
Oh my god, their nemesis. An air conditioner. Because now the weather cannot be controlled because the air conditioner will keep conditioning. Anyway, I don't know.
So, Nick.
Yes.
They've got to get to the courtyard to meet up with Savage Garden to give him the disc. Or give it the disc.
Who knows what it is.
To get it to Jotaro Kujo to protect him.
Who is now in a medically unresponsive state.
Yes. But this guy and his Jumping Jack Flash is being so frustrating.
Highlights?
Yes. I forgot that we did that first.
It's only been 100 and whatever episodes.
More than that.
Oh my god.
Highlights.
I reckon... Okay, I know what my low light is, if that makes it easier.
Is it Emporio, like, squeezing through cracks and stuff?
Yes. It's the inconsistency immediately after establishing the rules of, yeah, I can manifest, ghost objects. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I can't use them. Okay, so you can't drink the juice. That's fine. It's like, yeah, but I also keep this rubbery, tiny trash can. I'm like, that's a bit of a fucking stretch at best, but okay. And then
Bit of a stretch of his pockets, at least.
Yeah, and then he comes out of a slit in a wall. It's like, hey, guess what? I'm rubber now. And it's like, that's not manifesting.
That's not what's happening. He's not rubber now.
Yeah, but he comes out of a slit in a wall.
Yep.
He's like this thin. Like, what the fuck? How does he do that? And then in the jacket, they're in a void. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? Not a fan. Not a fan of this. But maybe they fix it later. I don't know. I don't like it, Liam.
My low light, even though I like the moment, I just don't really understand, like, I can't remember if this is clearly what's happening in the manga, or if they just started to add a bit of flourish that doesn't make sense to the anime. It's when Weather Report plays, like, a full coherent song by knocking some pens out of a cup.
I mean, Weather Report, very obviously, is a musically minded fellow.
It's true. He invented jazz fusion.
Exactly. His full name is Jaco Pastorius.
He lives in a
Weather
piano.
Report. Well, if you lived in a piano, you might know a thing or two about music.
I'm all the time getting hit by those little hammers.
True, that's probably why he's got amnesia, actually.
My highlight is...
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
I like the bit where Weather Report comes sprinting back, because it's like, oh, it's Weather Report.
He's done it. He's the guy we all need.
We can rely on him. Finally, in this prison, someone we can rely on.
He's a guy we can trust. And that's something you have to buy with
That's
cash.
something you have to be able to believe in when it comes to the Weather Report. You've got to be able to trust it.
Oh my god. Jesus, maybe that's why he's called Weather Report, because you can trust the weather.
I think he's called Weather Report because he controls the weather.
But like you can, but it's all, there's so many facets. It's like he controls the weather. He's a band. You can trust him. He's tippy toes. Like it all comes together, Liam.
Nick, what's your highlight?
I want to say my highlight is this is a really dumb highlight.
Okay.
But it's very JoJo's of Emporio shows up out of fucking nowhere. Jolene, don't catch the ball. Jolene tries to catch the ball.
It goes through her
but it goes through her hand. And then Emporio's like, we're all asleep down here.
Emporio's like, ha, now Marilyn Manson, the debt collector.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson just shows up as like 10,000 rubles. But like, it's just a stupid moment that's like, what the fuck is going on?
Why did he tell her not to catch the ball when she couldn't?
I don't know, but it's so fucking JoJo's. I love it. It's like, don't catch it. It's like, vroom. And now you're trapped, Jolene. Vroom. And then we're somewhere else. I'm like,
It's true, we are somewhere else.
yeah. It's very surreal. I think this is like, because I was telling you this is the episode that's made me go, oh, and I think I even said it before. It's made me just go, yeah, this is a very surreal part where a lot of things are happening that are just very fucking weird. And they don't, it's like you expect, oh, don't catch the ball, Jolene, and then she would catch the ball and something bad happens. But no, it subverts your expectations by creating an entire ghost area with a man sleeping in a piano as a pink-haired, originally lady but actually guy walks out into nowhere. And the small boy in a baseball outfit says, don't worry about him.
Oh, there was also a scene we didn't cover where Father Pucci was like, humans seek heaven. That is what makes us different from animals.
That was before the opening.
As he crushes an ant.
That was before the opening, and I said we should have covered it, and you said no. And this is my old man angry voice with my shaky finger.
So, Nick, all that stuff that I said before is currently happening.
Yes.
So what will happen next time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6, Stone Ocean, in the episode entitled Get to the Courtyard, Operation Savage Garden, Part 2.
Well, obviously we're going to reach the courtyard. Like, that's not in doubt, right? Like, we're going to get to the courtyard.
Yep.
The question is
how will they deal with this gravity man?
Well, I mean, we've got weather report.
Okay.
Like, come on, we've got weather report now. So, my assumption is we've flown up to not weather report. We've flown up to Jack Reacher.
Jack Flash.
Yep, Jack Reacher is going to be all like, "Hey, guess what? I can reach the walls. I can move around with my sucky feet, because I suck." But maybe
that guy. It's like, oh, my toilet's clogged. Can you use your suction cup fingers to unclog it? Like, okay, but this is the last time.
Jesus fucking Christly. I did not need this mental imagery of a man who walks around on his shit-covered fingers. Oh.
I mean, he can wash his hands.
Oh, yeah, it's true. But still, you'd have to get under the weird crevice between finger and suction cap.
But he could just de-gravity all of the shit.
But it's stuck to his hands.
Yep, but not without gravity.
Ah.
Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so I reckon Jolene will probably punch the ever-living shit out of him, but it might be in a way that works in zero gravity. So
yeah,
like
that makes sense.
So like she'll use her threads to grab onto something.
Oh, like slingshot herself.
And slingshot herself into him in zero G.
That'd be cool.
Punch the shit out of him, and he'll be all like, "Oh my god, how did you do it?" And she'll be all like, "It's simple.
Centrifugal force."
Yeah, centrifugal force. And then Weather Report will be all like, "We need to go now. We need to leave."
Nick spoke quietly and put his head right up to the microphone, much like Weather Report would podcast.
I was getting into character, you see. But then
Weather Report's podcast is, of course, called The Weather Report.
Ooh, I'd listen to it. It would just be a whole lot of very difficult to hear noise-gated
Weather
sounds.
Report doesn't listen to podcasts, but he does read like top 10 podcast articles on BuzzFeed.
So he can recommend them to other people and say, you know, I read that this is a pretty good podcast.
Yeah. He also reads all the episode descriptions. And looks at the pictures that I put accompanying each episode on jojosworld.net.
What I would love is just seeing someone literally go through every single description on a podcast and just being like, yeah, I've listened to it.
I won't, but I would.
God damn. I don't understand why. Anyway.
So what's going to happen when they get to the courtyard?
So when they get to the courtyard, Savage Garden will be I don't want to say a robot, but I get the feeling.
Like a drone or like a beep boop robot?
Like a beep boop robot, right? Where it's like a very rudimentary, he's on wheels, he's got like a body.
Stroheim.
And he's got a face, and he's like, hello, I'm Savage Garden. Please
insert disc.
And then you'll be all like, all right, here's the disc. And he's like, oh, now I have the stand power, now I am powerful.
And they've got to fight Star Platinum.
Ooh, that would be fun. But that's probably not what's going to happen. It'll probably be like a trash can inside him or something.
The very same trash can. It's even now in Emporio's pocket, but only the ghost of it.
Indeed. Because that robot died 10 years ago.
Of heart failure.
So, I don't know, like, I get the vibe that it won't be a person, because otherwise why would Jolene be like, is it an object?
Will anything come of the phone call being listened in on?
I reckon Father Pucci will be like, damn it, I sent that fucking stupid Jack Reacher fellow after them, and now all that's left is they've got one of the 2 discs. This Jolene character is becoming vexing to me.
If only I could reach heaven. As a priest and a human, I aspire to do so.
It's beautiful. That's what makes humans beautiful. Reaching for heaven. Which I would do, absolutely.
What do you think his goals are, Nick?
It's a weird one, isn't it? Maybe he's trying to make people better by bringing out the worst in
He
them.
did explicitly, like, target and trap Jotaro, remember? And Jotaro exposited that he thought John Gallier was the mastermind, who was a follower of Dio.
But maybe... True, why would they even know? Because if the idea was that John Gallier made the whole thing that caused Jolene to come into prison a setup,
Yeah.
but that was in the Fever Dream version.
No, that, Jotaro still shared that before everything kicked off.
Alright, so...
Just like the stuff we saw with John Gallier was the fever dream.
So, if he thought that John Gallier was the mastermind, but he wasn't, Father Pucci could have been the mastermind.
He did shoot John Gallier.
But, at the same time, could it be unrelated in that Monsieur Pucci, is not the mastermind working with Dio, but is rather a conveniently placed figure who has a lot of control in the prison.
And he's just got his own thing going on.
He's got his own thing going on. John Gallier shows up and is like, hey...
I want to get revenge for my friend Dio.
And Pucci's all like, oh, well, I can't help you with that. It's like, well, his daughter's a miscreant, and he's like...
And he has the most powerful stand.
And then is all like, let me bring her in. And now they're just like...
Well, don't forget, something else we know is that Pucci put the Star Platinum disc in the
barn.
Because that's where he stores the ones he can't use. So he's got some use for the Jotaro mind disc.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah. So what do you think he's up to? What's his end goal?
Maybe he wants to know the location of the arrow?
Ah.
Or maybe he wants to know something about...
marine biology.
He wants to know...
That's why he's in a prison on a beach.
He wants to know the secrets.
He wants to know about underwater creatures.
He wants to know the secrets of the manta ray.
Nick was also very perplexed when the Speedwagon Foundation representative referred to Professor Jotaro Kujo.
Well, like, we didn't know he was a professor. We knew he did a PhD, but that doesn't make you a professor immediately, does it?
That makes you a doctor.
Yeah. So he would have been like, yes, Jotaro Kujo, that guy who has a PhD. Like, if I got a PhD...
Jotaro Kujo. Dr. Jotaro Kujo, PhD.
Yeah. God, that's fucking weird. Like, if I got a PhD, you wouldn't be like, oh, yes, Professor Nick.
I don't know, particularly, like, with the various different countries that we're talking about here, America, Japan, Australia.
That maybe he...
Well, I know a way you become a professor is by teaching at a university. I don't know if there are any other ways.
By killing a vampire.
Accounting for all those cultural differences.
Yeah, if you kill a vampire, that's one way of getting in there.
Yeah, like Professor Van Helsing.
Exactly. Who is one of the greatest minds of the 19th
One of the greatest
century.
marine biologists.
He discovered the secret of the manta ray.
All right, well, have a think about Pucci's goals, Nick, and we'll pick that up next time if we remember, which we won't, much like we haven't picked up the rest of the Utena correct predictions.
True, yet again.
But until we pick them up, to be continued.